of the networks relative to quality of service. And as I indicated in my last press briefing, we've given them the third quarter to implement and utilize the spectrum that has been made available to them. And subsequent to that, in Q4, we will begin rigorous enforcement of quality of service. We will not hesitate as a ministry to give policy direction to the regulator, the NCA, to impose very hefty fines on companies or mobile network operators who fail to meet their quality of service obligations. I would also segue here into the issue of that has become topical of data and data running faster and disappearing. Let me be clear. My fidelity and that of the ministry and the government of President Mahama is to the Ghanaian people. Our interest is the best interest of the Ghanaian people. However, these are technical issues that we would only be able to act on the basis of evidence and not sentiments. I have seen a number of complaints on social media, and I've set up a specialized task force at the NCA and at all the mobile network operators to deal with these complaints. Let me state on the record, every single one of the complaints that have been referred to the team have been investigated, and all of them have proven that it is user settings and user behaviors that have affected the use of their data, and that there has been no price tampering. Let me reiterate, I will not hesitate to deal decisively as minister with any telecom company that falters or alters the pricing that is approved by the NCA. But unless there is evidence of same, you cannot punish somebody just because people are making a claim that is not backed by the evidence. And I can show to the media today evidence, maybe in the Q&A, of some of these instances. In fact, the last one that was dealt with, that I got a report on this morning, the individual complained. I asked the NCA to reach out to him. For 48 hours, he did not respond. So I had to go back on X and retweet at him and say that we've been trying to reach out to you. When we did the investigation, it turned out that he actually handed his own device over to somebody. And when they did the record, they realized that the person used it to watch and stream videos. And that's how come the data he was expecting to keep. And I have evidence of this. I mean, and some of them, we've actually urged some of them to come out and do public sensitization. I'm sure you all saw the one by Mr. DKB when he complained about his data, and subsequently he realized that it was from his own user behavior. But like I said, we will continue to deal with every single one that comes our way. The third thing we've done is comprehensive ICT legal reform. The ministry has completed a thorough internal review of all existing ICT laws, regulations, and policies. As a result, 15 new pieces of legislation are being drafted as we speak. These include amendments to the Data Protection Act, the new cybersecurity regulations, the Ghana Innovation and Startup Bill, and frameworks for artificial intelligence, digital trade, platform governance, and cloud services. I dare say that at no point in time in the history of our country has any ministry worked on 15 new pieces of legislation at the same time. But that's what we're doing, because when we say there is a reset for the 24-hour economy, this is the digital reset to put Ghana in preparedness to roll out President John Dramani Mahama's 24-hour economy. This legal overhaul is designed to modernize Ghana's ICT in line with global standards and preserving national interest and inclusivity. The Ghana Startup Bill has undergone both national and regional stakeholder consultations and is now in the final legal drafting phase. This law will provide clarity legally for startups, tax exemptions, incentives, and a streamlined compliance framework for innovation-led firms. In line with the ministry's vision of establishing an enabling legislative framework to foster a competitive, investor-ready digital economy, Ghana has been chosen to host the 2025 Global Entrepreneurship Festival, slated for November this year, which will bring in over 100,000 innovators and venture capitalists into the country for a 3-day event holding here in Accra to invest in local startups. 4. Ghana's National AI Strategy and Digital Transformation Blueprint. The Ministry of Communications has led the drafting of Ghana's National Artificial Intelligence Strategy. This draft strategy, which has been co-created through high-level consultations with stakeholders, including the British High Commission, UNESCO, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology's Responsible AI Lab, and GIZ, and the UNDP, has led to a strategy document which has completed legal reviews and is scheduled for cabinet presentation this quarter. Parallel to this, we have continued in May to launch the National Digital Transformation and Emerging Technology Strategy. This document sets out a roadmap for ethical and sovereign integration of emerging technologies, particularly artificial intelligence, across sectors such as agriculture, healthcare, logistics, financial inclusion, and education. This strategy reinforces Ghana's commitment to inclusive, right-based digital development. At the ministry, we have taken action aimed at reform, integrity, and oversight. Because like I stated in my first accountability report, we believe that the Operation Recover All Loot initiative of His Excellency the President is multi-sectoral. And so at our ministry, we have decided to embark on that. First, and reporting on under that will be the Kelny GVG contract. Following concerns about the cost effectiveness of the Kelny GVG revenue monitoring contract, the ministry referred the matter to the Attorney General's Department for review. We have noted that the value of money paid to Kelny GVG has increasingly increased as a percentage of revenue, rising from 28% to 84% in October 2024. I have directed a renegotiation of the terms of the Kelny GVG contract for the remainder of the contract pending the Attorney General's advice, and we have also made the decision not to extend the contract beyond its current terminal date. Smart Infraco and compliance enforcement. You remember and recall that in my first brief to the country, I indicated that we had realized that a private company, Smart Infraco, had 100% access to the National Data Center, and the National IT Agency did not have any access. I immediately directed that should be rectified, and as we speak, NITA has 95% access and root access to the National Data Center and all of our infrastructure. Smart Infraco has also failed to honor multiple financial obligations under the agreements that they have with the ministry, including an upfront payment of $2 million and annual payments of $1 million. I have directed enforcement and compliance of those terms immediately. Efforts are underway now to compel full payment of arrears, else we would take advice from the legal counsel to terminate that contract in order to protect the public interest. NGIC and 5G. The NGIC, Next Generation Infrastructure Company, the exclusive shared neutral 4G, 5G infrastructure provider, is progressing steadily towards its target of activating 350 5G ready cell sites by the last quarter of 2025, with at least 50 live sites for 5G expected in Accra and Kumasi. As of today, NGIC has deployed 16 5G ready sites and received full NCA approval for its core network infrastructure. I've also indicated in my last briefing that failure by NGIC to roll out full commercial activities by end of Q4 this year will lead to me terminating the terms of that contract, taking away the exclusivity clause in there, and opening it up for fresh negotiations. 4. Ghana.gov. The Ghana.gov platform has run under the previous administration of President Akufo-Addo without a contract. Millions of Ghana cedis, in fact, hundreds, tens of millions of Ghana cedis were paid every month to companies without a contract. We have put an end and a stop to that. Since President Mahama came into office, not a pesewa has been paid on that because we cannot keep paying for a project that has no contract. The ministry has redesigned the project. We're going to launch it in Q4 of this year, working closely with the Ministry of Finance. We're currently at the Public Procurement Authority seeking clearance to proceed with a public tender to ensure that the best value for money is achieved for the Ghanaian people. The redesigned site will feature faster access, full Ghana card integration, an intuitive, streamlined interface tailored for both individuals and businesses, and will harmonize all of government's payment gateways and platforms into one portal. 5. Operation Recover All Loot Oral, specific to broadcasting frequency audit. As part of the government's oral initiative, the ministry directed the NCA to conduct a comprehensive audit of broadcasting frequencies. The first phase of the audit revealed multiple regulatory infractions with a total estimated tax penalty of 9.5 million Ghana cedis. Several stations have already been shut down for non-compliance. The ministry remains committed to reclaiming state assets and ensuring that frequencies are allocated transparently and in accordance with law. And you also recollect that about 5 weeks ago, the ministry issued a directive to the NCA to shut down 64 radio stations. The President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, intervened and requested for amnesty, which we granted a 30-day amnesty. Let me state that of the 64 radio stations, 58 of them have written to the NCA and started the process of regularizing their paperwork. However, you would recall that I indicated that the total number of radio stations in default was 210. The 64 was just one phase. We expect that the public sensitization with the first batch of 64 would have compelled the others to have taken steps to rectify their anomaly. For all those who have failed to take any step, there will be no further public announcement on it. There simply will be enforcement in order of protecting the public resource. 6, girls in ICT. The ministry has scaled the 2025 Girls in ICT initiative across the Volta region, Upper East region, and Upper West region as part of efforts to close the gender gap in digital skills. In June this year, 1,000 girls from 18 districts in the Volta region completed a 3-week practical training program covering web development, game animation, cybersecurity, and coding, equipping them with relevant tools for Ghana's future digital economy. The Girls in ICT initiative reinforces our inclusive digital transformation agenda by investing in the next generation of female tech leaders and ensures that digital opportunity is genuinely national. And let me once again remind you that this initiative was an initiative that started under President John Evan Sata Mills and Vice President John Dramani Mahama in 2012.